Hello and welcome to Uptown Tonight. It is a very, very special night. I am wearing my very special clothes. It is our 1 year anniversary / we're going to do some review of over the year, basically just some clips that I found that I thought was pretty cool that happened on the podcast. Now, this podcast literally started in March 10th of 2021, and today's March 9th. So tomorrow was the first day we started this podcast. It's been a year, and man, all I can say is that the people we've met, the information we've gotten, just the camaraderie that's been going on out there, this has been awesome. So I thank each and every one of you that watches this podcast tonight. From the bottom of my heart and Cito's heart, we gave Cito the night off just because he's been working so hard on this that, it's been really, really cool. This has been probably one of my favorite things that I've been working on for the past, probably 10 years, other than, band stuff. But band stuff, obviously, that's just the love of my life. That's just never going to stop. So I have a bunch of things we're going to be looking at tonight. First off, we're going to talk about smashing that like button and hitting the subscribe button. We're over 100 subscribers now, and also commenting on the thing. I'll be running the live chats tonight, so if anyone's out there, if you can make me laugh, that's even cooler yet. But get on the live chats and speak to me. That'd be really, really fun. But we have a bunch of things we'll be doing tonight. I'm going to go through a bunch of firsts that happened on the podcast. Now, I'm not necessarily saying it was the first time it's ever been heard. Maybe those are a few, and there's a bunch of firsts that happened on our podcast. I have some words of wisdom that we'll be going through and some funny clips, along with my top 5 or 6 off the roofs that happened over the year. And all of these are not going to be in any succession. We're not going to go 5 to 1 or anything like that. We're just going to kind of go in just a nonchalant order. So this past weekend, I did not do any Mustang Minute stuff, and we didn't do anything like that. I did work on the Mustang. I didn't finish anything quite enough to actually present it. So we just need to show you that we are playing at the Barn Stage on Wednesday, October 3rd at the Wee Fest. That's going to be really, really cool. We always got to push that. And also, we have the JoJo Mayer disc. Now, I already put it into the top chats here that what's Peter Nyblock'S first drum kit? The first one to name it wins the JoJo Mayer DVD set. Now, you can say it below in the comment section, or you can do it in the chats right along with me. Either way, it works. We want to get rid of this thing because, I don't know. I think it's been sitting around too long. But what was Peter Nyblock'S first drum set? And if we need some hints, I have a couple of hints that I can throw at you. Not until a little bit later. But let's get back to the show. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to go with our firsts. Now, like I was talking about just a few minutes ago, our first ever episode of the Uptown Tonight podcast was with Nathan Peeler. Nathan Peeler at the time was working on his own podcast, and he was getting a lot of cool people that from all around the world to do on his. So I'm just like, man, he spoke very well. And I'm figuring myself is he's the guy that we need here first, because if I'm blowing it, I need someone who can back me up. So here is the very, very first time the Uptown Tonight podcast was seen. Are not mic'd. Oh my gosh, I missed everything we just talked about. That's okay. Now we're getting going here. Okay, so welcome to Uptown Tonight. If I sound like a robot, I'm sorry. We're still working the audio part out. I'm here tonight with Mr. Nate Peeler.
What up?
And he does his own podcast called Seen But Not Heard. Now I just got to make him reiterate exactly everything he was just talking about. So, Nate, how did you get started? Where did all this come from?
Pretty much, this is my passion project for going sober, actually. I needed something to pass the time, and I was going to take advantage of all the contacts I have in the metal world. And since we're not playing live or doing anything right now, I wanted to do something musical. So I was like, I'll jump on the podcast YouTube train and, you know, make that YouTube money, which is still $0. So my parents are super proud.
Zero.
But, you know, it's just, it's a way to get unknown bands out there, bands you're not going to come across on a daily basis, and give them a platform. Because being like a podcast and a underground metal dude, I want to help these bands get noticed by more people. If it's one person, 100 people, 1,000 people, whatever, as long as, you know, they kind of get their little moment in the spotlight, you know, little help out.
Yeah, but it's still, and that's exactly why we're doing this podcast too. I forgot all about that, and I did listen to a little bit of it, but that's been the fun part about actually going back and looking at all the podcasts and finding the segments here, is just listening to all the stories that, you know, you remember when they were going on, but then you just kind of forget about it, and then it comes back up again. And it's just like there's being such a treasure trove of what the people are out there and who they are and everything else in the entertainment field, at least in the Fargo Moorhead area. I mean, it's been cool, very, very cool. And you can tell that, you know, we had a lot of kinks that we had to work out there, man, that robot voice stuff, and then our, just everything. And you can see the GoPros still set up, man. That was still intense. But here, let's get on to our next verse. We got one from Slamabama here, back from December 8th. And this one is just out to their fans, a verse that they probably never heard of before.
Hell in the Heart. It's not the biggest song in the world, but I just love doing it. It's a fun song to do.
Let me correct one thing, though. Actually, I think maybe Every Rose Has Its Thorn.
Yeah.
Because for two reasons.
I know what one. Can I say I know what one of those reasons?
Yeah, you know what?
Well, Every Rose Has Its Thorn is the song that if say we've encored 3 times and we just really got to call it a night.
Yep.
That's it.
I know we're done.
I mean, like we may think, we may think we finished the show with Journey, or, you know, like Don't Stop Believing, or we may think we finished the show with Blink 182, or we may, you know, we'll look at each other, and it's funny because it's almost an inside joke with the band too. If we get to the point where we're whipping out Every Rose Has Its Thorn, it means it's time to go home.
It is. We are done. There's absolutely no, because we can be coerced into doing more songs.
You heard it here, folks. You hear Every Rose Has Its Thorn. It's over.
If you're trying to be
you don't have to go home.
Get in your car because you're trying to be.
You don't have to go home. You just got to get the hell out of here. Yeah.
So you heard it there first, everybody. Slamabama. If you hear Every Rose Has Its Thorn, the show is over. So that was really fun. You know, it's just digging up little things like that as we go along here, and meeting all these people and just being able to talk to them like this. I mean, it was super fun. Like that night we were taking shots together. You know, it was right before Christmas, so they're wearing all the Christmas stuff. It's an awesome time. I don't know why more people don't do this podcast thing. Yeah, it does take a couple hours of prep, but it's so satisfying after it's done. Oh yeah, I do have the little Zebras is out here with me. Do I have my zebra cam on? I do. So right up here in the corner, you can see old Zebras. He's hanging out. Oh, right. The next one is from Mr. John Huber from Shotgun Facelift. This happened back in May 5th, a Cinco de Mayo.
Just kind of make a game plan and stick to it. And as far as the album goes, there's the 2 singles we released.
Has the album been released yet? I didn't see anything on that.
It has not.
Okay.
And there's a reason for that. Originally, album release day was April 2nd, which has come and gone. And there was supposed to be a 3rd single that was released, which we did not release. And there's a reason for that. We can't say too much about it yet.
Okay. Please slip out and tell us
legally.
I got you.
Legally, we can't say anything about it.
Legalese.
But the album is done. It's completely finished. Top to bottom, everything is completely done. It will be released this year.
Okay. So there is a timeline for the next few months.
And there is a release date that we haven't shared yet either. So it will be released this year. This isn't one of those things where we're stringing everybody along. It will be released this year. But it's like in the next month we'll be able to kind of like open the curtains. But
okay,
we're working with somebody, trying to be as vague as I can possibly be. We're working with somebody to release it internationally, whole 9 yards. So
cool.
So like I said, it will be postponed, but there is a very good reason for it. So, that we're really excited about. That could mean, that means a lot of potentially very, very exciting things for the band that we're really, really excited about. So.
And there you heard it from John Huber. He was talking about that they just got picked up by a label, and they were just about to get the distribution rights and all that stuff figured out right before that. Before he left that night, he confided in us and told us that they are actually signed, and they're not able to release when their release dates and are certain types of songs, I believe, and everything else. I don't remember the name of the who they got signed with, so sorry, John. If someone out there remembers, you can throw it in the chat here. Help me out a little bit on that side, but no, that was really cool. Basically, showing the Shotgun Facelift is now being signed and was about to put out their new album, and it was just exciting times. Now, this next one we have from Mr. Dan Sulovitz. This is the first time I've done Zoom on a podcast at all, which is actually pretty cool, because now I have friends that, I don't know, down in Texas and California and all that stuff. We can Zoom them in on certain things, and most of these people were from the area at the first, at least at the beginning or at some point. So here is my first Zoom podcast with Mr. Dan Sulovitz. And hello and welcome to Uptown Tonight. Oh man, we've had some technical difficulties and all the other fun stuff getting on here. And it's our first premiere version of doing this through Zoom. We have Dan, Mr. Sulovitz, right above me on here. So we can all say hi to Mr. Sulovitz here. And if you're in the chat room or anything else, by all means, give us a chat or ask a question or anything else out there, whatever you need to do. But first, the best thing you can do for us is to like, subscribe, and all that. We are almost to 100 subscribers, and I would love it to death tonight if we can break that 100. I know it doesn't sound like much, but to us, that's a huge milestone. So, especially just being a little podcast coming out of the Fargo Moorhead area, because we are your Fargo Moorhead weekly entertainment podcast. So, I'm just going to go through a few things that we did last weekend. Now, Mr. Sulovitz, since I am a little bit short on the technology department, he's not going to be able to see any of this, but he'll be able to listen in as we go through our weekend fun. So you can see here we got Brady with Tyler, and there we go, a little bit of Mr. Sulovitz. Now, I forgot to get the part where he was talking, but he actually had to go back and redo it. So he's he's had some success in the past with recording original music and everything else. He used to do a lot of commercial music. He'd do things for Barbie, and I know he had some stuff set up for Subway, and he did have a couple of one-offs on the Super Bowl that actually had his original music in. So, I mean, it was a fun chat with that one, so I highly suggest you go back and check that one out. But he realized that on the Zoom call that his side, the audio wasn't very good, so him being him, Mr. Dan, I don't know how he recorded it all down, but then he just went back into his own studio, fixed the sound, and then we re-uploaded it on that. So that one's not under the live stuff. That one's under the regular post. But highly suggest you check that out. Very fascinating guy, very fascinating story of where he's been and where he's gone to and all that other fun stuff. All right, our next first here is Anomic. We got Jay. Here's the first time we actually had a whole band in this room. Now, this room does, maybe on camera it looks like there's something, but everyone who's been down here, Hello, welcome to Uptown Tonight. Today we have Jay Stevenson once again, our first for having a person on for the second time. Considering his last podcast was completely destroyed, stripped, and everything else. We got 20 minutes of probably an hour and a half conversation we had there, and there was a lot of good stuff in there. But, it's life, company. And we're learning. We're getting this duct tape production put together here. We also have Chris Thor Kaler, and along with Corey Jocelyn. Did I say that correctly? Mr. Corey. All right. And so make sure bassist. That you do come in and join us in the live chat. Please ask a lot of questions. You can also find us on Uptown Tonight Podcast and uptownbandfargo@gmail.com and uptownbandfargo.com. You can find us on the Twitter, the Instagram, and the Facebook, and make sure you subscribe to everything that you do see. All right, so this is what happened to us last week. I'm just going to talk about me for a moment, and I'm not going to talk about me for a moment right now, but you can see you got kind of cozy in there, and there was only 4 of us. Well, probably with Cito as long, and you can ask Cito along with anybody else who's been in here. It gets quite warm. And that was during June. That was June 30th last year. So, yeah, that was a toasty one. I think we even actually opened the door a little bit, cheated, but, it takes away from our little sound. All right, the last one I have here for our first is from Carrie Janicek, and this is basically it's a first that it wasn't a musician, but it was a first that we did like a little mini spread on what she's done and everything else. So here is my little mini spot of Carrie Janicek and the time we had out there taking wet plate collodion pictures along with her with the band.
Did I hear the video?
Yep, that's it.
Okay. Let's check this out.
Just like to show you our experience with Carrie Janicek at the old school collodion studio. She uses this camera from 1880 that was made in England. All authentic stuff. It's just awesome.
It was first used with glass plates. The goal was that they would be able to make a negative and then start making prints. So they had never made prints before that on photography. But I only do positives. So you take a piece of, I'll show you. This is a cool one. So this is a panoramic. This is an aluminum plate, and it's rose gold. It's kind of an experimental. I don't normally use these, but. So when I take my plate, I use what's called collodion, which is like a tacky emulsion of chemicals that has ether and like forms of gunpowder in it and everything. So what they used this in the Victorian era to seal up wounds and on the field during the Civil War. So somebody thought, hey, why don't we use that to sensitize the plates and make a faster form of photography? And then that guy, Frederick Scott Archer, actually did it. He did it successfully. So what I do is I pour it onto the plate, I go to all four corners, and then this is my silver bath, it's silver nitrate. And this is the expensive, this is the expensive chemical. And basically it's what turns everything on my hands black, and it's what makes the image. So once it's poured, you put it on those hooks, it sensitizes for 3 minutes, and then I take it out, and I basically load what's called a plate holder. I'll show you in a minute. And then I come up or outside today, and we'll take the exposure. And I have about 5-6 minutes to get it done. I mean, maximum.
Gotta go.
Maximum. I mean, if it's a humid day, you have 10 minutes, but it's So then afterwards, I take exposure. I come back and I develop. I do in-hand developing, and so I watch the negative pop up in safe light conditions. And then I rinse for about 60 seconds, and I fix the plate, and it pops up like a Polaroid. So you see it immediately.
Wow.
So you can imagine, it was like magic.
I hope we can get them all.
Up there.
I thought this was a cool idea too.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of cute.
The thing.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
I liked this. You said you're gonna dress in suits, right?
Yeah.
I really like this, like 2 sitting, 2 standing,
Okay.
a little off center.
We do need a picture for tomorrow. This is
Well,
perfect.
for 6-second exposure.
Oh, 6 seconds?
Because you're in the shade. I don't mind. I mean, there's a lot. This green's gonna turn black. I don't mind it to be a little underexposed rather than over, to be honest.
I think you should have a cigarette for the photo.
Can I have a cigarette?
You can
Like,
if you want.
that'd look badass, wouldn't it?
If you want.
Or is that
Part
gonna
of
be
your-
tasteless?
Be really stern.
This is the way I always am. What do you
Let's have you be kind of relaxed.
I'm
No.
relaxed.
Yeah.
Okay, so I won't have the hat on. Then.
Wade, can you look that way?
Sure.
Let me see your other side of your profile. Can you look the other way?
Awesome, man.
There we go.
Sergeant Pepper's Lonely
Here.
Hearts Club Band.
Let's go in the sun.
Whoa.
Oh, dude.
Freaking, that's awesome,
That
man.
is beyond.
We have some fogging.
We all died that day in the Civil War.
That's so freaking cool.
So these little marks come off.
What's cool is that it feels like I should be on the other side of the picture, but
And the sun won't ruin it now? It's like,
No. It helps actually. It's still fixing.
it does? God, that's cool.
And there's our section with Carrie Janicek. Now, I highly, highly suggest that anyone out there who's watching this, go out and find her on Facebook. I can't remember the name of her business right now, but I think it's old school collodion photography. But she has a studio out in downtown area of Fargo, and just go out and do that. I mean, it's an experience you won't forget. All right, let's get to our funny clips here. Mainly because it's funny time. So the first one here, this one's for Cito. He really wanted to see this from Gargatron back from December 15th, making fun of my Mustang. Here, I got to show you what I've been doing with my old car that I. The oil on the stick. Oh my God, there is oil on the stick.
That is the nastiest oil I've ever.
Oh my God. Seen. Nope, that thing's. So, now this thing hasn't been running over 20 years.
This thing is all. Have you tried pouring a can of Coke on it?
I might have to do that.
What about quick?
If you when you open your radiator, if you put the Quikrete in there.
I think that's what you do. Yeah. I'm not a car guy.
But I've heard.
Nope. There she is, one barrel, pure fury.
That's where you're gonna
there.
pour the Coca-Colas in the carb system.
And right there.
Moves.
Yeah.
Yeah, she moves.
That's where you put.
See
and then if you take out your radiator fan and put that fan in there, that's gonna add like 6 to 7 foot-pounds of torque.
Wait for it.
Alice.
What year is it? 67?
66.
66.
It still turns over. I was so afraid that thing was frozen up. We actually hooked the jumper up to it. I was looking at it, and that thing did nothing. Absolutely nothing. So,
yeah, no,
got it that far. So, and there we go with the old Gorgatron. The next one here is Dan Brecky and Brady with the bottle opener. Now we still have one of Brady's fat tires down here. So I'm going to take our. If you can see that, it's our limited edition Uptown keychains and bottle opener. And Brady, thank you much. It is a celebration, so I am going to have the last fat tire. So while we're doing that, here is Brady with the gigantic bottle opener. For something like that.
Yeah, and it's also knowing, your number system and all that, and understanding certain, different formats of different songs are going to be the same. Like in a lot of pop country songs, it's going to be the same. Oh, there you go again.
Brady's over here taunting.
I do got to show off the bottle opener that Wayne gave me. This thing is great. It's hard to secretly open up a beer when you're fucking doing it with a spatula.
I'm salivating. I'm salivating right now.
What is it? 2 minutes for 2 minutes for taunting. Good old Brady. Thank you for the fat tire, though, Brady. It is delicious. I hardly ever drink this type of stuff because it's a little too hoity-toity for me. Maybe. Maybe it's because I'm diabetic. I'm not supposed to be drinking it, but, well, we won't tell anybody. All right, our next one, Shane Bertrand with the squirt gun. Now, this is more amazing than funny, but I had to make sure I showed this off. So, back in November 10th, we had Shane Bertrand showing off the squirt gun. Right in the driveway, so it's kind of hard to miss at this point.
Yeah.
Right on a big old trailer. But so that's our off the roof thing. But let's get to Shane and his I don't know if it's your national debut, but it was definitely very syndicated at the time. So what happened here, Shane?
Are you talking about the Lex and Terry thing?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, that's really neat.
And the squirt gun.
Yeah, the squirts.
And I do distinctly remember calling you a savant.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I thought that was the coolest thing ever. I'm like, oh, my God, I know that guy.
So I was working at a place called Fabricators Unlimited up on NP Avenue.
Okay.
And we listened to that particular radio station that had Lex and Terry on every single morning.
And I used to listen to that religiously. Yep.
Okay. And they'd say, hey, if you got to, they do CD reviews every week.
And they were brutal. It was fun.
Oh, yeah.
I wonder if they still do that. They probably do.
I have no idea. I haven't listened to them for quite a while now. But yeah, I said, screw it. I'm going to send my CD in and just see what happens. And then when...
Oh, sorry. Wait. Quick 56 was talking about that. They were sending in their CDs to him, and they were just like... At first, they were being nice to him, and then they just destroy him. Okay, so sorry.
Yeah. So I sent my CD in. I was at work just doing my thing. And then, next CD we're going to review is Shane Bertrand's Squirt Gun. I'm like, no fucking way. So I call up my girlfriend and I say, hey, they're gonna play my Squirt CD on the radio. Can you record this for me? So she recorded it on cassette for me, and you can hear that recording on my my Shane Bertrand Squirt Gun page.
Oh, beautiful!
On my Bandcamp site.
And I'll make sure that's linked below for everybody.
Yep,
I'll make sure that's
on there. So yeah, so they came back on and they started, they're the first thing they were saying is like, the CD looks crappy, the cover looks crappy, and all it was is a damn CDR with black writing on it. Just saying,
they're brutal about that. Yep.
Terrible, and it's just the cover looked like shit. And it's just it had my hands on there, and you know,
got on there. I remember that.
So yeah, they started out just listening to a track called Flashlight, and not knowing that it was a funkadelic tune at the time called Flashlight. But that's what I call it, Flashlight, because my cousin Flashy, he also does hand squirts, so I had him do some hand squirts, so I call it Flashlight.
Okay.
Flashy, that's another long story. Why he got that name. But anyway,
we definitely won't get into that.
No.
I'm still waiting to see how this ends here.
But yeah, they were like, oh wow, he's doing that with his hands, you know. I was like, wow, that's really cool, and they started kind of getting into it, and they kind of compared it to those guys that would take like the buckets and all the different sorts of shit with the drums, and they'd just kind of
like
wing it out on the street or whatever. They were kind of comparing it to that. But yeah, they were totally just like shitting on it at the beginning, and the more they listened, the more they liked it. I don't remember if it was Lex or Terry, and at the end they says, "Sir, you are a genius and a savant."
Yep.
Nice.
Like, wow,
that's really good.
Then went from total shit at the beginning to calling me a genius at the end.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly. Oh, good old Shane. So that was a great conversation. And we talked about Quick 56, but here we got Quick 56 with the sexy drummer.
It's not enough that you get all the attention on stage. No, you gotta.
It's not my fault. It's not my
It's
fault.
that
He's
epic
got the pretty beard,
man.
Yep. That's all it is.
You know,
Chicks dig the drummer.
It's really hard being the sex symbol of this band.
Oh my god! Here we
I
go.
try. I got
Here
the
we
beard
go
going.
again.
I got the tattoo.
We really need to start standing in front of him on
I got a
stage.
drummer. I mean,
Can't
come on.
have this anymore.
Hey Derek, how long you been married?
Oh, 18 wonderful years.
Oh, there we go.
And you know how many times my wife has to beat somebody off?
Whoa!
I mean, not that way.
Definitely not that way, but no, that was a fun conversation, man. Those people were just having a riot. It was great. It was a great time. But my last one here, that was back in, whoa, what was that? That would have been September. Yeah, September 22nd. That's when that was going on. Next one we have is Dan Fuca. And Dan Fuca came out just with both barrels on this story. It's about a highly publicized band in the early to mid 80s and how they kind of took over their persona.
So we were playing in Billings in 87 and week-long gig at this giant bar called Grandma's. So it's not the restaurant, but this gigantic, huge bar. It was like, are we at a mall or a bar? Where are we here? The stage was one of the largest ones I've ever been on, right?
Huh.
And so they weren't really digging us too much, the management. But the place was, the dance floor was always full, right?
Okay. So they play both kinds of music then?
No, it was, I think they wanted something a little different than us. I don't know what. But it still was going good. We had packed dance floor all the time, right? Every night, 6 nights a week. So
6 nights a week.
Yeah.
Still.
So during the week, beginning of the week, it started that there were these two girls, these two blondes with big blonde hair. One would go up on one side of this huge long stage, and the other would go up on the other side, and then they would like go dance, in these mini skirts. I thought, is this what goes on here normally? This is cool, right? So, then during the week, there's this guy that came out that we started calling Spicoli, because that's what he sounded like, and he wore like a blue terry cloth, like a surfer shirt and stuff, and he'd like, dude, later this week, man, I'm coming out here this weekend with my limo, man. I've got a limo, and you and I, we're gonna party, man. All right, Spicoli, sure. And he'd say that the next night, he'd be on the dance floor. We're gonna party, man, this weekend. I'm bringing my limo.
That's awesome.
So I think it was, Friday night comes, and we get done playing. I get back to the hotel room and take off my superhero costume. And get back into my street clothes, and I'm sitting there watching TV, and all of a sudden there's a on the hotel room door, like frantic, and I open the door, and it's Pete, the drummer, and he goes, come on, you got to come out here. So I come outside, and there's a big long limo sitting out there, this big black limousine sitting there, and the tinted windows, and the window rolls down slow, and there's Spicoli with like a driver's hat on, and he, come on, dude, let's go, man. So we start driving around. I get in the car, and here's those two girls that had been dancing all week sitting in there. So Pete and I get in the back. He's got one girl next to him. I got the girl next to me. We're driving around Billings.
This is a hell of a buildup.
Drinking champagne and doing other things. And all of a sudden, people start like flashing their lights at us and stuff and honking at us. So Spicoli pulls over. This is the first time. And somebody comes up to the window and goes, are you guys in a band? And Pete Johnson said, yes. We're Night Ranger, right? Now, to preface this, Night Ranger was playing Sunday night, that coming Sunday night in Billings.
Oh my God!
You know, big concert. Yes, we're Night Ranger. Can we get your autographs? Yes. So we're signing autographs. Suddenly this starts happening like every 15 minutes. So like every 15, 20 minutes, we're signing autographs and signing body parts and stuff. Yeah, that's Kelly Keegan.
No, this is before cell phone, folks.
Yes, and before internet, so nobody could go look up what Night Ranger looked like, and unless you had a Spin magazine with you or something. That's about it. So we're driving around doing this and having a great time.
Oh my God!
Right?
Yeah.
And next thing, and Spicoli stops into a 7-Eleven or something. He comes back with like beans, hard beans or something, and he made himself castanets. And so he's got jazz on the stereo, and he's driving along with castanets. We have all these people that are going, we're playing Sunday, and can you get us tickets? Well, we'll see what we can do. And actually, this actually happened. Somebody was talking. Spicoli made this early car phone ring. He said, it doesn't work, man. And so he picks it up, and he goes, yeah, they're here. Yeah, I got them. Okay, hang on. He hands the phone to me, and there's nobody on the other end. And yeah.
Really playing this
and
up.
So the Pete, I go, they want to know what time we want a sound check on Sunday. 2:00. No, make it 3. Yeah, 3:00. We're going to only do 3:00. That's all we're doing. 3:00. Okay. And then, woo, that's all going on. So,
man, you guys need an Emmy for this or something.
So then the big thing happens where we get pulled over for this. People come up, and this guy goes, so you're Night Ranger, right? You guys, yep, we're Night Ranger. That's right. That's Kelly Keagy. I'm somebody. And he goes, well, I'm with the local TV station, WKX, blah, blah, blah. He goes, would you like to guys do an interview? Would you want to do an interview? Sure. Yeah, you bet. When's good? Well, when's good for you guys on Sunday? Sound checks at 3, maybe 4:00. 4:00 it is. Here's my card. There's the address. Just drive to the station, and I'll meet you there on Sunday. Be there about 3:30 if you could. Yep, we can do that. Sure, be there at 3:30. And so we take off.
You're booking Night Ranger for him.
So
this is like a real bad 80s movie. I love it. I love it.
So Spicoli shows us downtown Billings. We're at a red light. All of a sudden, these two hookers come running up to the car. Baby, I don't know what you got, but I want it. And so, okay, come on, get in. So they get in the front with Spicoli, and she turns around and goes, "You boys in a band or something?" Yes, we're in Night Ranger. Never heard of them. So we're driving around with this cadre of women and illicit substances and things, and we do this all night long. Then Spicoli takes us up above Billings into the hills, and we watch the sun come up. So then we go back, and that's it. The night's over. So here comes Saturday night, and we've got to play at this place. It's our last night there, Saturday night. Yeah. So I can't remember what set it was, but we're getting towards the end of the set, and suddenly I see a whole bunch of long-haired people come walking in the door. And they're going and standing back by the soundboard. And I'm looking,
long-haired people in Billings, Montana.
And I'm going, man, I hope that's not somebody from Night Ranger, because it was way back to the soundboard.
They're here.
And so the set got over, and I got off Pete and I both kind of got off the stage real slow. And walked back to the soundboard, and they'd been talking to Mick, the sound man, and Yeah, it's like, yeah, these guys are from Night Rangers Road Crew. Oh God. Yeah. And the guy goes, so were you the guys that were driving around last night saying that you're a Night Ranger? Yeah. And did you do this and this and this? Yeah, that was us. That's fucking great, man. We hate those guys. So here, dress in purple at the, we'll get you to the sound check. Dress in purple, we'll get you tickets and da-da-da-da. So we got tickets.
Oh, for all that, you even got...
And went to the concert, So watching Night Ranger at the concert, knowing that you guys missed a TV interview, and it's our fault. So that's the story.
That is awesome. So even just going out and just basically... I don't see how that's even legal, but, I can't see how it's illegal either, but still, I mean, you're just out making a menace of yourself. And if anyone has a story that can top that one, oh, man, I want to hear it. Definitely want to hear it. Much let's get it on there. So, yeah, Dan Motherfucker. Put it out with both barrels. All right, that brings us to our words of wisdom. Now, we're going to go through these just a little more quick because these are words of wisdom, and, it's to everyone's discretion. I thought this was a lot of really cool stuff that, not needs to be said, but probably should be heard and known or just thought about. Order.
Oh, geez. Well, this is like the advice part you said you wanted?
Hey,
Oh.
speaking of advice, we do have a question in the viewer comment, Ben. We have someone asking, does Connor recall a breakthrough moment in his playing where he said, he said to himself, this is it, I'm good.
This is it, I'm good. I'm pretty self-deprecating most of the time, so I would say that instead of the words I'm good, it was more of like, oh, thank God. So I think what happened with that is that a big part of going to music school is ear training. So being able to just recognize pitches and intervals. And there were a lot of things that I conceptually understood in school, but did not really understand or could not audibly pick them out. And so once that started clicking, I was able to learn music and memorize music so much quicker. So it was more of like, oh, thank God, this is finally coming together, so I don't have to agonize over this so much.
That's beautiful advice. That's just
It is.
a mindset to music.
I wouldn't even say it's advice. It's more like an experience. My gigging advice would be don't eat before gigs.
See, that's what I'm trying. So don't eat before music and all the rest. So that was from Connor Lee back in September 25th. Next thing we have Keith Johnson, one of the OGs on the scene here, and we got some pretty cool words of advice from him. This is back in June.
Just spent a lot of nights practicing, a lot of nights just sitting and talking about music. And, I always tried to be the best bass player I could by playing as many notes as I could and being fast and, doing all that kind of stuff. And, and Wayne taught me that it's not how many notes you play, it's playing the right note, and that the space is a great note, the space. And anyway, just spent a lot of time with him and educating me on being a better musician, I suppose.
Exactly, musicality, yes.
And then his son, I went from there and played with a couple bands called Jessica and Dexter. And
that's mainly what we got out of him, was basically musicality, is that it's not all about speed and a billion notes, but where you place the notes, the space in between, the feeling that you give them. And that's just something everyone should need to know. Now, these next two, yes, I'm biased by good old Peter Nyblock, but I had to get two of them from him, so bear with me. Here's some Peter Nyblock. This one's back from October.
I've had that situation where monitoring's a certain way. If you can't hear part of your drum set, you'll start trying to compensate. It's very difficult to kind of play remotely just by going, well, this is what I normally do.
Mm-hmm.
This is a normal move. It's very, very difficult to try and do. Because now because basically you're playing half a drum set. That's what you hear.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like, yeah, it's not good.
Nope.
Monitoring's important. Young drummers, make sure your monitor is just right.
Yes, and that's why I always point out in-ears, in-ears, in-ears. Oh, those things changed my life. Because I remember when they first came out, because we were playing some shows at the venue back when the venue was the thing. And that was like the big stage in town. We'd be opening up for like Pop Evil and all this other stuff. And I go there with my drum set, and I'm just thinking that it's like every other venue that they have a monitor, like a little wedge for the drummer. Oh no, all those guys came in with their in-ear stuff, so there was nothing back there for me. So there's a lot of time I call it the bat cave when you're trying to play and everyone's amps and stuff are in front of you, so you're just listening to the wash.
That's the
hoping,
worst.
yeah, hoping that you're doing it right.
That is like my nightmare scenario.
Yeah.
That idea that the back line sits in front of you and maybe a poor monitoring situation. I don't know how anybody does that. Because I came to play music, not the drums. I can play the drums on my own at home.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So basically just about being able to hear yourself and being able to play with the rest of the band other than just playing on your own and hoping the band's following along. So, and here's another one from Nyblock. This one is just from basically a few weeks ago. So, Peter, you got any last things to say? Last remarks. Things good for the order.
Love your instrument.
Love your instruments. That is the words of the day. And just play it for the love of it. Exactly.
Just love it.
Yes.
Don't love it for the idea of it or the idea of being someone else with that instrument. Just love the instrument.
This is words of wisdom from a very wise man.
For a
Thank
very
you, Peter.
old man.
Thank you, Peter, for being here.
That was great.
Love having you here. So anytime. But remember, loving your instruments. That's just another thing. It's just stuff you don't think about. But, it's something that you just need to know. Now we got Koisian. This one actually, I think, is from 2 weeks ago. He just said something that was so profound that I don't know why I didn't think of this earlier.
Want to be creative and things like that. But I remember someone once told me, play a guitar how it wants to be played, right? Yeah. So big guitars want to be strummed a lot of the time. Small guitars want to be played delicately. And in that same way, like I think of songs like that. Sing the song how it wants to be sang. You know what I mean? So I felt that and I was like, man, okay, I'm just going to go for it because that's what it's telling me that it wants.
That's one of those pearls of wisdom that comes out of this podcast that I would just love to hear. Play it how it wants to be played. Exactly. Exactly. Play it how it wants to be played. Man, Kwaisian, it's just so wise beyond your years, you don't even know. And this last one is from Matt Ockery, and this one is just something that goes to all musicians out there right now. This is basically what we do. That's what's going on this weekend. So, Mr. Ockery, if there is one thing you would tell any band, upcoming or not, what's one thing that they possibly should focus, concentrate, I don't know, whatever, just a good piece of advice?
I don't know. The most important thing is your show, but to remember that you're in the service industry. You're no different than a server.
I like that humble.
If you're
idea.
playing in bar, I mean, if you're
really
playing in the Target Center, do what you want. But if you're playing in a bar, whether it be big or small, the hard part to remember is we all don't want to do it. We're all artists, but your job is to sell fucking beer. So do a good job of it and be nice to people and they will remember.
Said by one of the greatest right here. Okay. That's beautiful. But right now we got to get to some juvenile destruction. So here is this week's Bang. So yes, we will be getting to Off the Roofs here in just a moment. But yes, you're basically out there just selling beer. And the more beer you can sell, the more the bar is going to love you. The more bar is going to love you. The more they're going to bring you back, and more you probably get paid. So, just great pieces of advice right there. So before we get to at least my top 6 Off the Roofs of the year, we're going to get to the weekly report. So, Cito! Oh, yeah, that's right. It's just me. What is the weekly report? Here we go. Uptown Windbreak. We have 2 weeks' notice playing Thursday, tomorrow night. The next day, we Pop Rocks rocking it on Friday. Face for Radio hitting the stage on Saturday at the Windbreak. Then we go to the Southtown Poorhouse in Grand Forks. Face for Radio will be out there the day before they hit the Windbreak on Friday the 11th, and then Pop Rocks will switch out with them on Saturday the 12th. Shooting Star Casino. Tripwire is going to be out there Friday and Saturday at the Mustang Lounge this week. We hit the Sanctuary Event Center from ashes to new this Sunday the 13th. And then at the Arthur's Barn, we have another barn dance with Silverado this Friday the 11th. The Downtown Acoustic Corner Thursday, January 10th. Gina Powers before or after the acoustic show, but the jam night over at Dempsey's. It will be at the 701 on Friday, February 11th. Mick Klein will be at Tailgaters on Saturday the 12th. We got Mike Morris, Jack Johnson, Myron Nodal at the Silver Spike. We got Jim White playing at the Silver Dollar Flying Pig, and Anthony Chaput. I'm going to say it wrong either way. It doesn't matter. The Troll Lounge. Now we're going downtown. Fargo VFW Quick 56 will be out there Friday and Saturday, the 11th to 12th. JC Chumley's, we're going to see 2 weeks' notice out there on Saturday. The Sons of Norway in the Troll Lounge. We got the Red River Valley Veterans Concert Band. It is a concert band. This Thursday, the 10th. Moving Parts will be out there as well after the concert band. And then we got the Bluegrass Jam next Tuesday, the 14th. Fargo Elks, we have Raw Sugar this Saturday, the 12th. And Bar 9, Tumbleweed Band, or Tumbleweed Radio Band, hitting the stage on Friday night. Out of town, we got the Owen Minot, Frantic Anarchy, Friday and Saturday. Just learned that they are now a Blitzer band. Congratulations, guys. Okay, Laughing Sun Brewery, our favorite venue of all time. Mike Swenson and Brian Gray, Thursday the 10th. Then we got McMahon Bros and Friends on Friday. Gina Powers will be heading out there this Saturday, the 12th. Average Joe's in Partial, North Dakota. Opposition out with Anomic, OJ, and Come Out Alive on Saturday. Sandbar 2 in Detroit Lakes, October Road this Friday. We'll be hitting the stage. More downtown at Dempsey's. We have the open mic with Gina Powers we just discussed on Thursday. Retrolution. There we go. I think it's Keith Johnson's band will be out there on Friday. The Aquarium Friday Night Frequency Benefits for Jeff Swift, or with Jeff Swift, will be on there Friday. And then Misos will be out there Saturday at the DCR, the Drum Conrad. Open mic night with Travis Harris on Thursday. VFW in West Fargo will have Stella on this Saturday the 12th. And, of course, at Delta Urban 42, Kathy Brecky and 42nd Street Jazz Band will be kicking it jazz style on Thursday. And that is all we have for this week's report. So thank you all, and the turtle.
Hey, just a little baby turtle. Look at him go.
There was the turtle. Okay, let's get to our off-the roofs. So here is our premiere off-the roof. I know this is the part everyone's been waiting for. Our premiere one, the very first one ever to go, March 10th, almost a year, 364 days ago.
Such a horrible
And that was with the Nate Peeler one. So we had to do something a little demonic. Whew, here's the next one. It has the iconic "Yeah" in there from March 31st. Go. Go. Oh, great. Go. And there we go, the iconic "yeah" and all that going on. And that was the old, let's see, that was the power supply from the computer that I was trying to get to make this podcast in the first place that wasn't working, and it threw me for a loop for about a couple of months there. So here we go. The next one, this one's from May 19th. This is a glass scale. I thought it just came apart real cool, and I think this was the first time we had the intro segment on there. Go. Go. Whew. And whew. That one came apart. So now there we go. Now the next one. This one was my favorite one. I really thought something cool would happen here, but not really. But it's still one of my favorites. Here we go. It has no need for introduction. You'll see it right when you hear it. Go. Perfect aim too. You're hired. And that was one of my favorites. I think we still have it out there. We were talking about doing some things to it to make it actually like explode on impact. So maybe that'll make another scene. Plus, if I had a cameo from my son on there, haven't seen him in a long time. So Devin, you actually see this. Miss you, man. Waiting for you to come home. All right, on to my favorite one here. This one was a suggestion from Keith Johnson on his way out that night. This one I consider we call Watermelon Sugar. That's for you, Brady. Go. Go. Perfect aim too. You're hired. Man, and that one just came apart. I wasn't expecting that at all. I thought it was going to bounce a little bit. So that one was really cool. Now, we do have to play our latest vid just to show you how far we've come. Yes, Brady, that was for you too. And from our first premiere on March 10th to what we have now for our Off the Roof segment. Again, thank you all for hanging out and listening and watching all this stuff. If you have anything you want to donate to Destroy, please bring it on over or just throw it in my yard. Do what you ever want to do. Oh, actually, today I learned someone called me Tom Brady. I thought that was kind of strange, but I digress. Here we go. The latest Off the Roof. Go! That was perfect aim too. You're hired. And again, thank you all for hanging out with me tonight on our first year anniversary. It's been great. Still nipping on my beer here on my old fat tire. It's been an awesome year. So any suggestions, anything you want to see, anybody you want to hear about, or if you want to be on yourself, just let us know. You can find us on Uptown Podcast or Uptowntonightpodcast at Gmail, or else you just go to uptownbandfargo.com and you can find a whole bunch of stuff about us on there as well, or else you can get a hold of us at uptownbandfargo at Gmail as well. So until, I should say, if your drummer has more charisma than your front man, your band may be in trouble. But that's why my band's doing just fine. So until next time. Bye.
It's just a little baby turtle. Look at him go.